Hello, ghouls and ghosts. I hope you've all had a good start to this year. I took a nice long break for the first time in ages and it was awesome. I hadn't realised how much I needed it. When you're freelance, work is constant, so you have to force breaks to happen. I spent a lot of time behind the scenes cleaning artwork, scanning and printing. Random fact, I tried taro bubble tea for the first time this month and I loved it. Most years start off feeling really overwhelming, but I felt super productive this month. I had to overcome lots of setbacks with paintings. My Frankenstein's first painting attempt failed. The background was messy and unrefined. I had high goals for this painting, so I started over the whole process. Frankenstein had to wait because I had planned a plein air excursion to the cemetery with my livestream community. Here's my plein air backpack with all my photography equipment. I love that it has pockets for both my tripods. I found a peaceful cemetery to set up my painting. Apologies for the shaky video, I didn't have hands free to hold my gimbal. This was the first time I ever got to do plein air painting. It's a whole different experience making art while fending off the wind and sun. I got my pochade box from Peg and AWL. They are a family-owned business of super creative makers. They thought of everything while designing this pochade box. It has little tubs with solvent and linseed oil. There's pockets for brushes and spatulas. It also has little slots at the bottom for holding additional canvases. There's a glass palette for oil painting or an alternative watercolor version with tubs. I found one of the hardest struggles of outdoor painting was the lighting conditions. Too much sun glare made it hard to see the colours properly. I really like how small the pochade box is. It made it really easy to set up and carry with me. Mixing paint on a palette is one of the most satisfying feelings. Back in the studio, I made some more progress on my Frankenstein painting. Watercolor painting works out a lot better when I'm patient. Each layer needs time to dry and fade. You often can't see how far paint is going to spread or how light it will fade until time has passed. I wanted the pink layer underneath to fade wider than the black. In my first trial, the black overpowered the layer beneath it and spread beyond the edges of the paper. As you can see, this worked out a lot better in my second round. It now has a more gradual fade. Throughout the process, I kept supervising the paint, making sure it wasn't leaking further to the edges. I dabbed up any paint that seemed too dark. This is one of the amazing things about watercolour. If I had just set and forget the painting and waited until it all dried, I wouldn't have been able to make these changes along the way. You can see how the masking fluid I placed before I started painting is keeping the paint off certain areas. An artist friend of mine shared a good tip with me. To make sure your masking fluid doesn't tear your paper when removing it, dilute it with a few drops of water first. I shared the masking fluid removal process on my Patreon. Gotta snap those progress pictures along the way. I was so happy my second trial turned out a lot better. This was closer to my goal of how I had envisioned the painting. The weather brought me a taste of everything this month. There were many days I had to cancel live streams because the studio was too hot. Then it rained endlessly for days. I always feel like rainy weather makes for relaxing art sessions. What weather do you find most conducive to making art? I really miss my livestream community when I can't work in the studio. It's amazing to be part of a group of artists all inspired by the same things. I was really happy when it cooled down and I was able to hang out with everyone again. Every month on Patreon, I create a new community drawing. Each of my patrons suggests one creature, object, or concept to add to the piece. Some months you all really challenge me. I love it because it's a great way for me to draw things out of my comfort zone. Something I find particularly challenging is drawing mechanical objects. I didn't have as much time as planned to work on this illustration, so in the end it had a lot of mistakes I couldn't fix. It's the learning process that matters. My favourite thing about this illustration was drawing the two bunnies. My vibe is anything cute and creepy, so they are right up my alley. While live streaming this drawing, I was sitting at a further angle from it, which made the perspectives come out skewed. I realised this mistake later when I put it on my slanted drawing board. Note to future self, make sure you lift up your drawing board to check or draw on a slanted table. In the end, I had a lot of fun with this piece. I really love the little Cyclops' lonesome tooth. My favourite thing about illustration is bringing out personality in characters. It's It's a storytelling aspect of art that really allows me to unleash my imagination. Albert Einstein said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." I feel like in art, a balance of both is needed. This is the 4th community drawing I've created for Patreon. I'm excited to see what prompts you all give me in February. I really focused on cultivating a regular schedule for my business last year. I felt like I had just found a good balance for it, but then we went into a lockdown and I had started taking on more projects with my art through Patreon. Lockdown meant I had to change my schedule now that others were at home around me. It's been really hard to stay consistent to my former schedule during this time. I also started working on an exclusive monthly story for my patrons. This meant fitting more things into my schedule. Running my business smoothly requires me to be vigilant about how I manage my time. Sometimes it's not about having too little time to do the things you have planned, but rather being organised about when and how to do it. I find it's most helpful for me to develop a pattern I can follow. One of the highlights of my month was when my community helped me reach my goal to purchase a Cricut machine so I could create stickers for my shop. I was blown away by everyone's support. I named it Antoine Louis after the inventor of the guillotine. Thought it's only fitting. One of the struggles I had with the Cricut was its requirement to use letter paper instead of A4. Where I live, we use A4, so I didn't have any letter paper around to test with. I love this part of my job where I can reminisce about things while working. I often think of new ideas from my artwork or things I've been inspired by. I had a super cool dream about velvet frogs recently that I really want to turn into a drawing. A lot of my ideas come from dreams I have. Sometimes music really inspires me too. A song I found really catchy lately is We Only Die Once by Kelsey Carter. I've also been inspired by the artist Sergei Kurbatov, who does amazing watercolor paintings. I love how abstract he leaves his paintings, allowing the watercolor to be the main feature. His cloud paintings are my favourite. They are so well thought through, yet seem so simple and effortless. I'm always excited finding new artists and keeping up with the growth of their work. If you've been inspired by an artist recently, please drop their name in the comments below. I've built a close relationship with my machines. I've named them Lady Gutenberg, Sir Scansalot, and Antoine Louis. Here I'm setting up Lady Gutenberg to do a test print for the stickers I'm working on. I've had some terrible relationships with printers in the past, but the two of us are getting along really well. She prints like a true queen. She helps keep my shop running so I can send out artwork to you all. I've added many new prints to my shop this month. You can now find a lot of my Joloween pieces from last year available as prints. This is my monster self-portrait from last year's Joloween. I finished painting Little Nightmare Huntress, so a print of her is also up in my shop. Some other recent additions are Frederick and Fergus, and also Snow White and Her Little Funeral. Oh, and last but not least, although he is kind of small, Spice the most adorable rat. Thanks to my community support, I will also soon be able to print and cut stickers, so that will be coming to my shop in the next few months. If you're a sticker fan, let me know in the comments what are your favourite things to place them on. I'm also working on creating spooky planners for you all. I know how important it is for ghosts like us to stay organised. Here's Lady Gutenberg in action. I'm always so excited to see how the prints turn out. This is the first test run for stickers. I based it off my illustration Promenade of the Animals. Here's my Cricut machine, aptly named Antoine Louis, having his first go at living up to his name. First he checks to make sure everything is properly aligned. Nobody likes a misaligned guillotine. Watching the stickers being cut is mesmerizing. It cuts a lot faster than I expected. And we're done. My goal for the upcoming month is to create more paintings. I also want to fit in more quick sketches like this during my day. This sketch was part of an art challenge I organised with my livestream community. We all had to draw our own superhero self-portrait. Thank you all for following me through my month's journey. If you'd like to support me, please check out my store, subscribe to my Twitch channel, or pledge to me on Patreon. I want to thank my patrons for sponsoring this video and allowing me to spend time on creative projects like these. Now, I'll put a spell on you all to go make greatness with your art. Go be amazing!